So incorporation rules, there is a small change in the incorporation rules regarding one person company. Actually one person company, he should satisfy the condition, one person company. Who can incorporate one person company? A person resident in India. So what is the criteria? So how many days he has to stay in India for satisfying 180, for satisfying residential status. So before amendment it was like this. Suppose if a person wants to incorporate company, one person company in the year 2018, if the person wants to incorporate OPC in the year 2018, then he should satisfy a resident for the preceding calendar year. So preceding calendar is 2017. How many days he should stay in India? 182 days or more. 182 days or more. Like this, the point was there. So if you want to incorporate a company in this year, then you have to stay in India for a period of not less than 182 days in India during the preceding calendar year. So the criteria here was calendar year, but amendment took place. So what is that amendment, sir? Instead of calendar year, so they made it as a financial year. Once upon a time it was the calendar year. You have to satisfy residential status. During the preceding calendar year. But now it was a preceding financial year. And this change came with effect from 27th July 2018. For 27th July 2018. Now listen carefully. Suppose today, for example, today, 1st August 2018. Assume that today date was 1st August 2018. And here Mr. A wants to incorporate a company. One person company. Now what criteria he should satisfy? Actually, if there is no amendment, what criteria he should satisfy means, so preceding calendar year for the specified date is 1st January 2017 to 31st December 2017. Yes or no? So this is the criteria. This is the period during which he should stay at least 182 days. If this condition is satisfied, now he can become member, he can become director of the company. There is no problem. But on 27th July 2018, a new amendment took place. What is that amendment? So the word calendar year was substituted with financial year. That means on 1st August 2018, after amendment, actually the criteria is, it is not calendar year, it is financial year, starting with 1st April 2017 to 31st March 2018. So this 3 months was eliminated. This 3 months was eliminated. Even if you are a resident, during that 3 months, we eliminated that period. In order to compensate, so what lawmaker did? He gave this 3 months plus he gave extra time limit. Till which date, sir? Till the date of notification, 27th July 2018. So till this date. So if you want to incorporate a company in the financial year 2018-19, then you should satisfy the criteria called natural person, Indian citizen and Indian resident. In order to call Indian resident, you should stay in India for a period not less than 182 days in a preceding financial year. But only for 2018-19 purpose. Yes, the residential criteria, the Indian resident criteria will be computed from 1st January, I'll highlight, 1st April 2017 to not 31st March 2018 but till 27th July 2018. So extra time period was given. Okay, there is no logic. Actually, here the 3 months was deleted, no? So in order to compensate this, already 3 months were given and extra time period was given till the date of notification, because Act will not have any retrospective effect. It is very difficult to get retrospective effect. Sorry. So that is the concept. That is the concept. So for the purpose of this rule, the term resident in India means a person who has stayed in India for a period not less than 182 days during the preceding financial year. Earlier it was calendar year, now it was financial year. Next one. For the purposes of this rule, while counting the number of days of stay of a director in India for the financial year 2018-19, any period of stay between 1st January 2018 till the date of notification of these rules shall also be counted. Actually, up to 31st December 2017 will be counted because calendar year ends with 31st December 2017. But what happens, sir? Extra time period was also given. Extra time period was also given. I'll highlight that point. How much time period was given? Extra time period. So yes, dekho. This is the extra time period. This period is also given for checking the eligibility criteria. So counted for eligibility. That's it. Next one, section 10A. Section 10A, it was introduced with effect from 2nd November 2018. So listen carefully, this is a new topic. Commencement of business newly inserted. Applicability. Section 10A shall apply only if the company is incorporated after the commencement of Companies Amendment Act 2019 and the company is a company having a share capital. Earlier there was no such requirement, but companies incorporated after 2nd November 2018, they should comply this requirement. They should comply this requirement. See, this section 10A is applicable to only companies satisfying two conditions. What are those two conditions? If the company was incorporated after the commencement of Companies Amendment Act 2019. So Companies Amendment Act 2019, it came into force with effect from 2nd November 2018. So if a company is incorporated after 2nd November 2018 and if that company is company with share capital, if the company type of the company is company with share capital, then it is required to comply section 10A. So section 10A is not applicable to company without share capital. Section 10A is not applicable to companies incorporated prior to commencement of Companies Amendment Act 2019. Are you all getting my point? So any company incorporated after 2nd November 2018 and if the company is with share capital, then that company is required to comply section 10A. Sir, what is section 10A? What are the conditions to be satisfied under section 10A? See, look into the point. Conditions for commencement of business are exercising borrowing powers. That means, if you want to start business or if you want to take loans from any person, right, from directors or from bankers or from any money lenders, if you want to exercise borrowing powers or if you want to start the business, you have to satisfy certain conditions. Without satisfying those conditions, you can't do business, you can't take loans, even from directors also. You can't borrow money from directors also. Sir, suppose if I do business, suppose I take loans, what is the status? What is the status of those loans? What is the status of that business? Simply void ab initio, because you are not eligible to enter into the contract relating to do business related to exercising borrowing powers unless the following two conditions are satisfied. Now look into the material. The company shall not commence any business or exercise any borrowing powers unless the following two conditions are satisfied. What are those conditions, sir? Filing of declaration with respect to payment of money for shares subscribed by the subscribers to MOA. The first thing is filing a declaration. So who will file this declaration, sir? And what is the declaration, sir? I am going to explain now. Don't worry. So company incorporated after 2nd November 2018 and company with share capital can exercise borrowing powers, can do business, only following two conditions are satisfied. So what are the conditions, sir? What are the conditions? Condition number 1, condition number 2. Both the conditions to be satisfied. And likhona, and. Sir, what are the conditions, sir? I'll explain, don't worry. Conditions. First condition is board of directors of the company should file a declaration with ROC. And the name of the declaration, it is in the form INC 20A. It is in the form INC 20A. Form INC 20A. Within how many days? Within 180 days of incorporation. 180 days of incorporation. Signed by, that means verified, simply verified by, authenticated or verified by either CA or CMA or CS in practice. Sir, you said everything, but what is the need of this declaration? Why company should file this declaration, sir? Why company is required to file this declaration? Or what is the, what is the nature of this declaration? Now listen, this declaration is about all the subscribers of company. All the subscribers of company had subscribed shares of company and they paid money for the shares. They paid money for the shares subscribed. So all the subscribers of the company, whoever subscribed, whose names were written in the subscription clause, and the persons who agreed to subscribe shares of the company. Simply the persons who agreed to subscribe the shares of the company had subscribed their shares, and the sufficient money they paid to the company. They paid to the company. Like this, board of directors will file a declaration with ROC. Within how many days? Within 180 days of incorporation. So, and it is verified by a professional, CA, CMA or CS in practice. And sir, what is the second duty? Second duty is very simple duty. Now, board of directors should file one more form with ROC. This form is nothing but verification of registered office. Verification of registered office. Sir, form number, sir, INC 22. Sir, what is the time limit, sir? Within 30 days of incorporation. Within 30 days of incorporation. Yes, company has to file two forms. One is regarding subscribers subscribed the shares and they paid sufficient money. And the second one is verification of registered office. So this has to be done within the time limit specified. This has to be done within the time limit specified. These two forms are to be filed within the time limits. Now generally people will get doubt. What doubt? Sir, if company fails to file these forms within the time limit, now what would be the consequence? What are the consequences if company fails to satisfy these provisions? Yes, consequences for failure of filing the returns, that is nothing but punishment. So listen, punishment in case of failure to comply, section 10A. Sir, what is the punishment, sir? What is the punishment? See, here punishment was given to both the persons. One is company and the other one is officer in default. That means officer who is responsible to file these forms and he failed to file the forms. He is known as officer in default. Company is punished with a penalty, ad hoc penalty, fixed penalty, that is 50,000 rupees. No rebate, no discounts, no extra premiums. Company is liable for 50,000 rupees. There is no change in the punishment. So there will be no change in the punishment. If company fails to file the returns forms within the prescribed time, then company is punishable with 50,000 rupees penalty. And officer in default, so they are liable for delay period. So 180 days is the time given, Andy. 180 days is the time given. If you file within 200 days, for example, you filed the form commencement of business, INC 20A, on 200th day of incorporation of the company. In that case, how many days delay was happened? 20 days delay was happened. For company, there is no ad valorem penalty. Sorry, there is no variable penalty. There is only fixed penalty, that is 50,000. But coming to officer in default, the penalty is variable in nature. So penalty, how much, sir? How much, sir? 1,000 per day during such default. during such default continues, a maximum subject to maximum 1 lakh rupee. Maximum 1 lakh rupee. Are you getting my point? So without certificate of commencement of business, company should not do the business. Okay, if company did any business before obtaining certificate of commencement of business, then all the business transactions are void ab initio. So company is not liable and outsiders are not responsible, or company is not responsible to outsiders. That's it, the first thing. And second thing, in case of delay, company will get a penalty of 50,000 rupees and officer in default will get a penalty of 1,000 per day during such default continues, but maximum 1 lakh rupee. If the delay period was just 20 days, if the delay was just 20 days, then 20 into 1,000, 20,000. If the delay was 120 days, 120 into 1,000, 1,20,000, but it was restricted to 1 lakh only. So in addition to this, suppose if company files the returns, files the forms with some delay, then this punishment is applicable. Suppose sir, if company failed to file the INC 20A, what I am saying, suppose company company is supposed to file INC 20A and INC 22 within the time limits specified under the respective sections. In case of delay, the company will be punished with a penalty of 50,000 rupees and officer in default is punished with a penalty of 1,000 per day during such delay continues, but subject to a maximum limit of 1 lakh rupee. Maximum limit of 1 lakh rupee. But here the point is, suppose sir, if company never files INC 20A, never files INC 22, just incorporation was happened, but the company never made an application for commencement of business, never made an application for verification of registered office. Now what would be the situation? Delay filing punishment I agree, asalu company filing cheyaledu. If company fails to file the returns, then what would be the consequence? Now ROC is having an extra power. ROC, it will make an investigation. It will make, ROC will make an inquiry. Whether company is doing business or not. Whether company is doing business or not, it will make reasonable inquiry. In that reasonable inquiry, if ROC comes to know that company is not doing any business at all, then ROC, after doing some activities, he will remove the name from the register. That means, what are the some activities, sir? Means, he will make an advertisement. So and so company is not yet filed any certificate, has not filed any application for certificate of commencement of business. This is the first warning, second warning, third warning. Like that, ROC may carry some activities. ROC may carry some activities. Later ROC, what it will do? It is having a power to remove the name of the company from register of companies. That means the company was closed. Now just look into the material, my dear students. Conditions. First one, filing the declaration. A declaration shall be filed by a director with the ROC that every subscriber to MOA has paid the value of shares agreed to be taken by him. The declaration shall be filed within a period of 180 days of the date of incorporation of the company. And the declaration shall be in such form INC 20 and verified by a CA, CMA or CS in a practice in a prescribed manner. In case of company pursuing objects requiring registration or approval from any sectorial regulator such as RBI, SEBI, etc., then registration or approval as the case may be from such regulator shall also be obtained and attached with that declaration. That means if the company is doing insurance business, if the company is doing stock exchange related activities, if the company is doing banking related activities, now the company should file no objection certificate from the sectorial regulators. So the company is required to obtain no objection certificate from the regulatory authorities, and that no objection certificate should also be filed along with INC 20A. Second declaration is filing of verification of registered office. The company shall file with the ROC a verification of registered office as provided in under section 12 subsection 2. The main logic for introducing this section means without subscribers investment, company should not do any business. Nowadays what company is doing, so it was, now what people are doing, they are incorporating the company, they are taking loans from the outsiders with an intention to do the business. Later the people are misutilizing the corporate will. Later the people are misutilizing the company type of organization. They are, they are escaping with that amount. Later there is nothing in the company to recover anything because no paid up share capital, No one paid, no one subscribed the shares, no one paid their amounts, then outsider will be ultimately held for the responsible of losses. So ఎప్పుడైనా మెంబర్స్ అనే వాళ్ళు ఇన్వెస్ట్మెంట్ చేస్తే ప్రమోటర్స్ అనే వాళ్ళు అంటే ప్రమోటర్స్ మెంబర్స్ అవుతారు, మాక్సిమం ప్రమోటర్స్ విల్ బికమ్ మెంబర్స్ ఆఫ్ ది కంపెనీ. వాళ్ళు ఇన్వెస్ట్మెంట్ చేయకుండా అవుట్ సైడర్స్ కనుక నుంచి లోన్స్ తీసుకొని ఇప్పుడు బిజినెస్ సక్సెస్ అయిపోతే అది అక్కడే క్లోజ్ చేసి వెళ్ళిపోతున్నారు. దిస్ లీడ్స్ టు లాస్ టు ద పబ్లిక్, దిస్ లీడ్స్ టు లాస్ టు ది క్రెడిటర్స్. దట్స్ ద రీజన్ ద లా మేకర్ స్ట్రిక్ట్లీ ఇంట్రడ్యూస్ దిస్ సెక్షన్. So if you want to start business, if you want to start exercising borrowing powers, then you have to comply two conditions. First thing, your subscribers should pay subscription money. With that money only you have to do business. Second thing, you should have registered office. So many of you don't know Freedom 251 mobiles. What happened actually? They said that we are providing Android mobiles just for 251 rupees. They incorporated a company, so they incorporated a company and they promised that they will give mobile for 251 rupees. Everyone thought, oh, 251 rupees Android mobile, and they invested the money. They paid that amount in advance. Later the company was bogus. So in the process of investigation, yes, people went to the company, people went to the registered office of the company. But there was no registered office. Actually it was a old cloth shop. Fake address, fake details, fake subscribers. But the money was lost. Public were affected. That's the reason. So expert introduced this section. So if you want to start business, if you want to take advance from your customers, then you have to comply these two conditions. That is the logic. Nothing than that. Default. If any default is made in complying with the requirements of this section, company 50,000, officer in default 1,000 for each day during such default continues, but not exceeding an amount of 1 lakh rupee. Power of ROC to remove the name of the company. The ROC may initiate action for the removal of the name of the company from the companies under chapter 18. Chapter 18. Actually we are having 10 chapters only. CA final level you will read 11th chapter to 29th chapter, from 11th chapter onwards to till 29th chapter. So if the declaration is not filed with the ROC within a period of 180 days of the date of incorporation of the company, and the ROC has reasonable cause to believe that the company is not carrying on any business or operations, then ROC will simply remove the name of the company from register. The same thing was repeated in section 12 also. See, if the ROC has reasonable cause to believe that the company is not carrying on any business or operations, then he may cause a physical verification. He may call for a physical verification of registered office of the company in the prescribed manner. If it is found that the company does not have registered office capable of receiving, acknowledging all communications and notices sent at such office, the ROC may initiate action for the removal of the name of the company from the register of companies under chapter 18. That's it. That's it. So already detailed notes was given. So this was the notes. This was the notes for section 10A. Next one, conversion of public company into private company. So as we already discussed, the main aim of Companies Amendment Act 2019 is to enhance the jurisdiction, the powers of ROC and regional directors, reduce the burden over NCLT. So one such example is this. So one such example this is conversion of public company into a private company, alteration of AOA. You all know, for conversion of public company to private company, the public company is required to file an application with NCLT. With NCLT approval only, the public company gets converted into private company. But with effect from 2nd November 2018, the public companies which wants to convert itself into private company, they should file application not to the NCLT but to the central government. So the power to dispose this case is shifted from NCLT to central government. Is it clear? And all the pending cases, that means applications filed till 2nd November 2018 will be disposed by NCLT. But new applications you have to file it with CG. CG here refers to, CG may delegate the powers to ROC, a regional director. That's it. Next one, that's it, and nothing more than that. Until the approval of CG is obtained, the alteration of AOA regarding conversion of public company into a private company shall not have any effect. Previously application is made to NCLT, but now application is to be filed with CG. Any application pending before the tribunal as on the date of commencement of Companies Amendment Act 2019 shall be disposed of by the tribunal in accordance with the provisions applicable to it before such commencement. Next one is all about Rule 8. Actually, this Rule 8 was not there in our study material, but the same was specified in the material, in the RTP, in your RTP. That's the reason we introduced this rule in our material. No need to mug up this Rule 8. Just give line to line reading. That's it. This will not be asked in the exam. So you just give one time line to line reading. That's it. Don't mug up this concept. So Rule 8. What is the amendment in Rule 8, sir? Earlier there was a single rule, Rule 8, but now that Rule 8 is substituted with 3 rules. Earlier there is only single rule, Rule 8. Now Rule 8, Rule 8A, Rule 8B. Rule 8, 8A, 8B. Sir, what is that Rule 8, sir? So the name of the proposed company or name of the existing company. If the existing company wants to change the name, or if you want to incorporate a company, then the proposed name should not be similar or identical to the name of existing company. And the usage of the word should not constitute an offence under any law for the time being in force. And the name should not be undesirable in the opinion of central government. So like that, all the rules were given under Rule 8. All the conditions were stated under Rule 8. But now that Rule 8 was divided into 3 rules. Rule 8, 8A, 8B. Nothing new. In the place of Rule 8, Rule 8, 8A, 8B were introduced. So Rule 8, name which resembles too nearly with the name of the existing company. Then what is Rule 8A, sir? Rule 8A. It is not undesirable in the opinion of central government. Rule 8B. Sir, the usage of these words require prior approval of central government. That means central government won't give approval. The power was already delegated to ROC, the Registrar of Companies. So if Registrar of Companies is giving approval, that means central government is giving approval. Is it clear? So I am not going to explain entire rule because this is not relevant for our exam. This is not part of study material. But amendment was given in the RTP. So I will teach you the examples and then we will proceed to the next amendment. Okay. For example, if you see Rule 8B, the usage of these words like board, board of BCCI, SEBI, Securities and Exchange Board of India. So like that, if you want to use the word board in your name, board, next commission, authority, undertaking, national, Punjab National Bank, National India Assurance Limited, insurance companies like National, Union, Central, Federal, Republic, President, Rashtrapati, Small Scale Industries, Khadi and Village Industries Corporation, Financial Corporation and the like words, Municipal, Panchayat, Development Authority, PM or CM, Minister, Nation, Forest Corporation, Development Scheme, Statute or Statutory, Court or Judiciary, Governor, and the use of the words scheme with the name of governments, State India, Bharat or any government authority or in any manner resembling with the schemes launched by central, state or local governments and authorities like PM Awas Yojana, Raitu Bharosa, like that. So if you want to use these words, and last one is Bureau, CBI, Bureau, okay. So if you want to use these words, you can use, but for usage of these words, prior approval of CG is required. Prior approval of CG is required in case of these words, whatever the stated. So no need to mug up, just give one time reading, that's it, just give one time reading. Next one, 8A you can read, because all these points were already explained. So 8A you can read on your own, no problem. And Rule 8, there some rules were given like this. See, the following matters are to be disregarded while comparing the names under this sub rule 1. So the words like private limited, private, brackets pre, OPC private limited, IFSC limited, IFSC private limited, producer limited, limited, unlimited, limited, LLP, limited liability of partnership, company and the company and co, corporation or group. So adding these words, it doesn't mean, I repeat, it doesn't mean the name of the companies are not resemble. That means, for example, if you take our company Masterminds Commerce Institute Private Limited, so it was there, many of you haven't seen this. So see, Masterminds Commerce Institute Private Limited. Suppose Mr. X want to incorporate a company with the name Masterminds Commerce Institute Limited. He wants to incorporate public company, so he wants the name of Masterminds Commerce Institute Limited. Is it allowed, sir? Not allowed. Sir, there is a slight variation. This is a private company, that is a public company. Array, as a lawman, you know the difference between private company and public company. But for a layman, they don't know about private company or public company. They don't know the differences between private company and public company. So they will see the name, Masterminds Commerce Institute. They will see that name and they will enter into the contract with the second company. So which means it's not correct. So just adding the words additional like private, OPC Limited, LLP, it doesn't mean that the names are not resembling with each other. Is it clear? See, down there were given lot of examples, Sunday. See, Green Technology Limited. No, not this point. So simply adding these words, it doesn't mean the names are not similar. The names will be similar. Is it clear? Next one, plural or singular form of words in one or both names. Plural or singular. For example, see, Green Technology Limited is same as Greens Technology Limited and Greens Technologies Limited. So these names are similar. Suppose if a company was incorporated with the name Pratap Technology Limited, if the name of the company was Pratap Technology Limited, and it is not same as Pratap's Technology Limited and Pratap's Technologies Limited. Suppose one person already incorporated the company with the name Pratap Technology Limited. Now no other person is allowed to use words like Pratap Technologies Limited, Pratap's Technology Limited. So singular as well as plural forms are also not allowed. Next one, type and case of letters. That means uppercase, lowercase, spacing between the letters, punctuation marks and special characters used in one or both the names. So even though you find these differences, the names may be similar. The names may be resemble with each other. See, ABC Limited is same as A dot B dot C dot Limited or A space B space C space Limited. So both are same. Suppose if the company was incorporated with the name ABC Limited, now no other person is allowed to incorporate the company with the name A dot B dot C dot Limited or A space B space C space Limited. Teamwork Limited is same as Teamwork Limited and Team hyphen Work Limited. Is it clear? So this is, here we need to give some space. Team space Work Limited. So all are similar. That means no person is allowed to use the word Team space Work Limited, Team hyphen Work Limited. Next one, use of different tenses in one or both names. For example, see, Ascend Solutions is same as Ascended Solutions Limited or Ascending Solutions Limited. Is similar. Next one, Speak English Solutions Limited, Spoken English Solutions Limited. Is it clear? So both are similar. If one name was already in existence, then no one can use the other name. Next one, use of different phonetic spellings, including use of misspelled words of an expression. So you all know about this point. See, many of us use the products called Fast Track. Actual spelling was FASTRACK, but we saw some products like Fast Track. So in phonetics it is matching. In pronunciation also there should not be any matching. Reliance. Now these are also not allowed. Okay, we will see the examples given by the given in the BER Act. Chemtech Limited is same as Chemtech Limited or Chemtech Limited or Chemtech Limited, and Chemtech Limited. But the usage of words is different. All are similar in phonetics, but spellings are spellings are not similar. If members of the company are talking about the company, they call that Chemtech Limited, not CHEME, CHEMTECH, that company only, like that they won't speak about the company. So even in phonetics also the names should not match. Next one, Use of the host name such as www or a domain extension such as net, org, dot or com in one or both the names. So you will have an example. Ultra Solutions Limited is same as ultrasolutions.com Limited. Supreme Ultra Solutions Limited is not same as, listen, Supreme Ultra Solutions Limited is not same as ultrasolutions.com Limited, because Supreme Solutions is different, Ultra Solutions is different. Is it clear? Supreme Solutions is different, Ultra Solutions is different. Next one, the order of the words in the names. The order of the words in the names. For example, Ravi Builders and Contractors Limited is similar to the Ravi Contractors and Builders Limited. But for that negative example is also given. See, Ravi Builders and Contractors Limited is not the same as Ravi Shankar Builders and Contractors Limited, because the one company is Ravi, the other company was Ravi Shankar. They are not similar. They are not similar. Even sir, one word is also matching. This is also disallowed, sir. No. If one word is matching, how can we say it is disallowed? So you have to read the complete names of the companies and you will get the idea. So whether they are similar to or not. If they are similar to or resemble with each other, then you should disallow them. You should not use the names. You should not use such names. Next one. Use of definite or indefinite article in one of the both the names. Suppose Ravi Limited, the Ravi Limited, both are similar. See, for example, Congenial Tours Limited is same as a Congenial Tours Limited and the Congenial Tours Limited. So using the word a or the doesn't mean the names are different. They are similar or they resemble with. Like that, see, a slight variation in the spelling of the two names, including a grammatical variation thereof. Say example, example 2 is missing. A second example was missing. See, Isha Industries Limited is not the same as Anisha Industries Limited. Sir, usage of an, but the name was changing. Isha is different person, Anisha is different person. So like these phrases, they will be allowed. Such kind of names are allowed, but congenial, a congenial, an congenial, the congenial, they are similar. Next one. So Color Technologies Limited, we can write color as a COLOR or COLOUR, you know. So sir, spelling variation, no, are they allowed? No. So Color Technologies Limited, if first company was incorporated, then no other person is allowed to use this word, Color Technologies Limited. Next one, Disc Solutions Limited is same as Disc Solutions Limited. Original was DISC, second one DISK. Both are different. So, but Disc Solutions Limited is not same as Disco Solutions Limited. See, phonetics mismatch. Sir, just O was added, but phonetics, pronunciation was changed. So, no one will say that sir, Disc and Disco both are one and the same. No one will tell. So, this name is allowed. But if this disc was incorporated, now this disc won't be allowed. It was not allowed. Next one, like that only. So complete translation or transliteration and not part thereof of any existing name in Hindi and English. For example, National Electricity Corporation Limited is same as Rashtriya Vidyut Nigam Limited, because you know national is nothing but Rashtriya, Electricity Vidyut Corporation Nigam. So both are similar only, even though the language was different, both are similar. Hike Construction Limited is not the same as Hike Nirman Limited. Sir, construction Nirman different, same, different, even though different language, but they are not same, because easily we can identify. Here, complete company name was translated and but whereas here Hike Construction Limited, only one word was translated, there is no problem. If complete name was translated, yes, the name is similar to the name of existing company or resembling with the name of existing company, thereby it is not allowed. Next one, here only it was clearly given, complete, not part thereof. So if only part of the name was translated, both are different, but complete translation is similar. Next one, addition of the name of a place to an existing name which does not contain the name of any place, which does not contain the name of any place. For example, if Salvage Technologies Limited is an existing name, it is same as Salvage Technologies Delhi Limited and Salvage Delhi Technologies Limited. Just by adding the word Delhi, so the names will not be dissimilar. ఒక ఊరు పేరు యాడ్ చేసినంత మాత్రాన, ఒక సిటీ నేమ్ యాడ్ చేసినంత మాత్రాన ఈ రెండు కంపెనీలు two different names అయితే కాదు, both are similar, both are resembling with the name of existing company. Next one, Retro Pharmaceuticals Ranchi Limited is not the same as Retro Pharmaceuticals Chennai Limited, because in the original name also there is a city Ranchi, the second name contains Delhi, so now both are different. Suppose if the company name was like this, Retro Pharmaceuticals Limited, now Retro Pharmaceuticals Chennai Limited is not allowed. Okay na, so by simply addition of the place, the name shall not be dissimilar with the name of existing company, so both are similar only. Okay na, both are resembling with each other only. Next one, addition, deletion or modification of numerals or expressions denominating numerals in an existing name unless numeral represents any brand. For example, see, Thunder Services Limited is same as Thunder 11 Services Limited and One Thunder Services Limited. Style Garments 11 Limited is same as Style Garments Limited and Style 12 Garments Limited. 111 Power Equipment Limited is not same as One Power Equipment Limited if 111 represents a brand. You all know OnePlus. So if OnePlus is a brand, suppose some other people are using a name of the company like OnePlus 2 Limited, that will be different. If OnePlus is the brand, so it was allowed, but if it is not a brand, OnePlus, already OnePlus Limited is there. Now OnePlus 2 Limited, OnePlus 3 Limited, now they are similar and the usage of words are not allowed. See, small note point. If no objection has been provided by the first company by way of board resolution, then clauses F to H and clauses K to L shall not be disregarded while comparing the names. For example, sir, how can we identify? See, there is a small mistake happened. So try to convert these numbers into like these clauses A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L. Now what is there in the provision actually? So F to H, K and L. So K and L, F, G, H. So what lawmaker is trying to tell? So lawmaker ఏం చెప్తున్నారు సార్ అంటే ఈ FGHKL ని నేను డిసెలో చేయకుండా అలో చేయాలి అంటే మీరు ద ఫస్ట్ కంపెనీ ఎగ్జిస్టింగ్ కంపెనీ నుంచి అప్రూవల్ తెచ్చుకోండి. ఎలా తెచ్చుకోవాలి సార్ అంటే ద బోర్డ్ ఆఫ్ డైరెక్టర్స్ పాస్ ఎ రెజల్యూషన్ దట్ we will not have any objection to use such words, then you are permitted to use such words. For example, we take example clause K. So 10th point, see, Salvage Technologies Limited is an existing name and you want to incorporate the company with the name called Salvage Technologies Delhi Limited. You are permitted, this is permitted provided that if and only if this first company gives approval by way of board resolution. If board resolution was obtained, then you are allowed to use the words Salvage Technologies Delhi Limited, like that. With this incorporation of the company and incidental matters there too, so amendments gets completed. So next chapter is prospectus. We will cover the prospectus in our next lecture. That's it for the day.